Negotiate a preferable payment term with Chinese suppliers is always a big concern for buyers. How much deposit is normal? When to pay the balance? And can you trust the suppliers? Those are questions frequently asked, and also there are reasons to hold back your order. So in this video, let's take a look at the payment term and how to make a successful transfer. What is payment term? Payment term indicates when and how payments should be made, and it is usually included in the invoice made by the seller and sent to the buyer. And the term can be negotiated, but the thing is that you may have no much negotiating space and power as a new buyer. Here is the standard payment method, TT, which is telegraphic transfer, also known as wire transfer. The standard TT payment term is 30% deposit to start an order and 70% balance before shipping. Once you confirm the sample and send the supplier a purchasing order, they will come back to you with an invoice to request the down payment. And there is a chance to make the term from 30/70 to 20/80 if you're reaching out to the supplier kindly. It could be better if you're tight on the budget to start out. And the balance, no matter it's 70% or 80%, is requested to be paid off after the production and before the shipping, especially when you're shipping the products by international express and air freight. If you're shipping by sea, the timing to pay the balance can be further negotiated as the supplier or the shipper is holding the original bill of lading. For example, experienced buyers will ask to pay the balance against the scanned copy of the original bill of lading. You can also break the payment into more parts. For example, 30% deposit, 40% after production, and the rest 30% when the container is reaching to the port of destination. Wire transfer requires you to make a payment from your local bank or from the online banking system. If you ever made a transfer from bank to bank, you will know that it will take around 3 to 5 working days, and the cost would be from $10 to $50 depending on the transferring amount. And if you have ever heard about TransferWise, it's an online platform that provides international money transfer services. Through TransferWise, one can receive your payment in 24 hours or sometimes 1 to 2 working days. And the cost would be around 1% to 1.5% of the transferring amount. And that's just for your information, and there are many more online money transfer platforms like TransferWise. You have already received an invoice with a bank account from your supplier. No matter you're going to make the transfer from your local bank or from the online banking system, the most important step is to check the account details. A wire transfer bank information should at least include the beneficiary name, the beneficiary bank, and the bank SWIFT code, and the beneficiary account number, and the beneficiary bank address, and the beneficiary address, which is supposed to be the supplier's company address. There are occasions that your local bank will ask for the intermediary bank account details as well. You'd better double check with your supplier if they have this information. Also, double check with the counter, as this is not always required. After signing the payment, you will get a transfer receipt and you can send it to your supplier so they can track the payment. Sometimes the payment is arrived, but the supplier is not aware of it. That will only delay the delivery time. Also, you'd better take care of these points before making any payment. Number 1. The supplier name on the pro forma invoice should be the same as the beneficiary name, or your bank will refuse to make the transfer. Number 2. The invoice should have date and number, or your bank will refuse to proceed as well. Number 3. Keep it free from any spelling mistakes and double check it to make sure that everything is correct. Number 4. In case there are no enough space to input for certain information, you can add full information in the remarks section, or the payment will not be transferred successfully. Last but not least, be safe from any scam. Scammers and hackers could be monitoring your email communication with the supplier, and they could send you a new invoice with their bank account to scam you. For example, here are two email addresses. Can you notice the differences between them? If you don't watch it closely and carefully, especially when the letters are very small, it's very difficult to find out the difference at the first sight. I'm not making a story here. One of my customers was almost trapped by a hacker who used this kind of email address and hiding our conversation. As many people were involved in the conversation, we didn't realize that at all until the last moment when the customer was about to make the payment. He had a conversation with me on WhatsApp and wondered why we changed the bank account. So to avoid such bad scenario, you need to be sensible and keep close contact with your supplier and double check the email address which sent you the bank information and make sure that it is the same as the very first email address of the supplier. And that's all for today. We have discussed wire transfer and how to make a successful payment. But about payment, we have not yet finished. In the next video, we will introduce a few more ways to make the transfer. Hope you find this information helpful, and thanks for watching. See you soon.